In this portion of the video, we're going to go over how to make a roll change on the 916 roll groover. First thing that you need to do is you need to remove the E-clip that holds the pivot pin in place. Okay, so you're just going to take a screwdriver and pry that E-pin out, E-clip out. Now that's out. Now you're going to take that pivot pin and push it straight back until it disengages from your depth adjustment screw. Then you're going to unscrew your depth adjustment screw fully and remove that from the machine. Now you pull that pivot pin all the way out and you can swing that groove roll housing all the way up. There is a set screw that holds that groove housing shaft in place. You're going to remove that set screw, back it off, and you're going to be able to push that shaft completely out of the groover itself. Now your groove roll will come out, and you're going to notice that the groove roll, the ride on it, the lip on it is facing closest to the actual machine itself. Now that we have that out, now we need to actually work on getting the drive shaft out. Okay? The way you do that is you got to remove the retaining plate on the very back of it. You can do that with a screwdriver or a small wrench. Get the 4 screws out, and then we'll take that retaining plate off. There's your retaining plate, and there's your bearing that holds that in place. Now with a rubber mallet, you're going to want to tap on the front of your drive roll to loosen that. Now that entire drive shaft will come out of the unit itself. Now when you purchase replacement or alternate sets of roll sets, they are going to come, the drive shaft is going to come with that bearing pre-installed on that. And then to put those back in, you want to make sure that all the bearings inside, the needle bearings, are all in position and well greased. And then you would insert the drive shaft back in. It should slide fully into place. And now you're able to reverse that process and put your retaining ring back on and put your screws back in. Now that we got our retaining ring and our screws back in position, now we're going to actually go and put the groove roll back into position. You want to put the groove journal closest, or raised edge closest to the actual tool itself. So that's going to slide into position. Then we're going to take our groove roll shaft, and there are marks on it to set up for the dimples on the set screw. You're going to slide that into position, match up the holes with the actual position of the set screw, and now you are going to tighten that set screw back into position to lock that shaft in position. It shouldn't be sticking out the actual roll housing, otherwise it will get caught up. Now we're going to swing that whole housing over. Now we're going to put our pivot pin back into position. If you'll notice, that pivot pin has an opening for the end of your depth adjustment screw to go into. So you will be partially putting that pivot pin into position. Not fully inserted yet. Then your depth adjustment screw has to screw in. So we're going to run that depth adjustment screw down into the pivot pin. Make sure that it's fully in position, and then slide that pivot pin the rest of the way in. You'll know you have it engaged if when you back that depth adjustment screw up, that whole reaction arm moves up and down and you're not able to remove the depth adjustment screw. Now we'll take our E-clip again and push that back into position. Get it lined up. And snap it back into place, and now you are ready to go.